Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next episode of Ladders Down After Dark. We are your Ladders Down admin team, bringing you a podcast by streamers for streamers. And this is what, episode number 2. So episode number 1.
Oh, I thought it was 9.
Episode number 1 had, I would say, minimal issues. Episode 2 looks to be going much better. We're going to start off with some introductions in case there's anybody here who does not know all of us. Starting way over on the left with our fearless leader, Fishsuit.
Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 2, After Dark, the Ladders Down podcast. I am Fishsuit. We're going to head over now to
me?
this person right here.
Am I next?
Yeah, you're next.
Am I next? Okay. I'm on game heroine.
Waffle, help her out.
Not like this.
Waffle, help her out.
Again.
What's your name? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. I
It was
believe in
just
you.
so funny I did that. I was kicking myself for days. Like, I can't believe I did that.
That's GamerHeroine, everyone.
Yeah, you could just call me GH.
And what are you sitting in?
Secret Labs?
Oh,
No.
I was gonna say, is that gamer Cherwin? I tried to set you
Oh.
up. I tried to set you up for the pun, but that's okay.
I think we're to me. My name is
Yeah.
Waffle Cone.
Next.
I don't have a fancy name for my chair. It's just a giant waffle cone, and I'm the ice cream. That's me. Good times.
You need a yellow chair now.
Oh, it's
I'll get a yellow chair that looks like a waffle cone.
And my name is No Dice TV, and I'm just happy to be here.
That's his real name, too, you guys. You guys might not know that, but that's his real name.
It's on my birth
Yeah.
certificate.
Confirmed.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
His middle name is Dot.
NoDice.tv. Oh my. So what we do here on this show is we like to discuss topics mostly brought up by you guys, if possible, in the Discord channel. Fishsuit, I believe we have a list of
We do.
topics of things to discuss from this show. What is going to be first?
I think that we'll go with Matrosina's question, which is, why is GamerHeroine so pretty?
Oh man, dude. Oh, the poems I could write.
The poems. The sonnets.
The sonnets.
I think you're skipping on the hard-hitting question, which is a podcast a sandwich?
Is a podcast
Ah.
a sandwich?
Exclamation goodbye. I'm not even having this conversation. That's a bunch of garbage.
That's a bunch of garbage. What a bunch of garbage.
So we took a lot of these questions from the Discord. So maybe our newest crowned mod in the Ladders Down site, or in the Ladders Down page out there, Book Fairy, could give a link to Ladders Down, the Ladders Down Discord, because a lot of these questions came from there, from both us, just kind of as a running sheet of things that we wanted to talk about, and from community members of Ladders Down as well. And I think I'd like to start actually with something you asked, No Dice, and I think we've all certainly dealt with before, which is trying to find that sweet spot of balance between work and stream and life and family and all that stuff. Actually, I would love it actually if Waffle Cone maybe would start us out on this one, because Waffle Cone's got, at last count, 17 children. And
We're working on 18, but yeah, right now it's technically only 17. So
Waffle, I know you've dealt with this a lot. It's something we've talked about since I've known you, is trying to figure out what that balance is. And I know you're just starting a new job, so it's become even more, difficult now that you're not working from home. Do you think you found that balance? Is it possible?
I have, and I think that's what makes me somewhat of a diverse character as far as like in the midst of you guys, just because I'm pretty sure all three of you, I would say I know you stream at least 3 or 4 days a week, if not 5 days a week. And for me, I flirt between that like kind of 3 and 2 days a week, so I'm a little bit more of a part-timer. But I think I've found that balance, and the problem is you want to do both things. You want to have all the time in the world to spend with your family and your friends outside of the interwebs, as well as stream and game with everybody on here. But at the end of the day, you have to, for me, obviously, as much as I love Twitch and I consider everyone on Twitch to be an extension of like my family and friends, obviously my wife and kids, I need to make sure that everything is good there first and foremost. But but it's tough. I mean, I think that I'm definitely not perfect, and I think there have been times where there has been that strain, and there probably still is. So I think more than anything, it's just about maintaining good communication with the people in your life and the people that you care about, and you guys have those people that you have to communicate with as well. But for a lot of times for me, it's just kind of like letting the wife know, like, hey, if we're putting the kids down for a nap, I've got to be live no later than like 20 minutes from now or something like that. So let's get the kids down for a nap or something like that. So it's all about communication more than anything. And sometimes I probably do lack in that. So if anything, it's just about personal responsibility and making sure you're being mindful of the people in real life that you care about, and that you are at least communicating with them and understanding their expectations, and they understanding yours. So that's a super boring answer. And really, like, I sound like an old man. Like, I literally sound like a dad with what I just said. So I'm going to shut up now.
You mean we have to talk
You're
to each
good.
other? What?
I know, right? Let's just text and Discord each other all day and never talk or see each other ever.
So do you have like any time set aside, like every week, that you're like, this is definitely Twitch time, or do you have time set aside like this is 100% family time every week?
Yes, and there's and the problem is like, I think we all, like, I don't know, I probably shouldn't speak for everyone, but as someone who has probably a mild addiction to video games and like Twitch and stuff like that, I tend to lack self-control sometimes, and I tend to let some of that stuff fall by the wayside. But yeah, we do try and at least there are just certain things that we do every week. That's always, it's part of our routine. I wouldn't say I have set Twitch time unless it's like actual stream times. If it's actual stream times, then yeah, those are set. But as far as like time that I get to work on the stream, most of the time it's just like few and far between, and I take it when I can get it. So honestly, most of my time that I spend doing Twitch stuff when I have free time is honestly usually just trying to hang out as much as I can and support my fellow streamers, since I really don't have that much time. So yeah, it's sad, but that's the way it rolls. It's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, Twitch is also like part of your family too, Waffle Cone, right? I mean, like, can you tell Love Ladders Down community about your
which store?
The aspiring streamer in your family?
I don't know if I am proud or just extremely upset with myself. But
what did
one
you
day
do?
we caught my son like playing on the fridge, and he had drawn a picture, and he had put magnets of these pictures on the fridge, and he had one picture that was his video game that he was streaming, and the other picture was the chat that he was talking to. So he had his chat on the left-hand side, and he had his game that he was streaming on his right-hand side. And I thought, oh, how sweet, or oh my good night, what have I done to my poor sweet child?
Oh my! I want to be a broadcaster just like that.
And I promptly said, "Oh, buddy, that's awesome. Make sure you get a full-time job first, but you could do this in your free time."
Oh
yeah,
my!
Good stuff. Not to mention, anytime he comes into any of my kids, anytime they come into my room and I'm on my computer, especially if I have a Twitch stream up, they immediately want to talk to my friends. And I'm like, they can't hear you at all times. Like, you can't just come into the room and be like, oh, I see a stream open. Let me say hi to your friends. Yeah,
but sometimes that's like the best moments, because like it's just so real, and your family is amazing, Waffle.
Well, I appreciate that, and I would be inclined to absolutely agree with you. So, and you guys, not only are they are the absolute world to me, but I consider all of you and many of the people on Twitch like literally to be some of my best friends and a part of my family. So, and that's not pandering. Like, I don't need to pander. There's nothing I'm going to benefit by saying that. But like, I really consider a lot of people on this platform to be some of my very best friends now. So it's been awesome to meld those worlds together.
Yeah.
What about you, Dice? Finding that balance?
Well, I mean, the main reason I proposed that question is because Waffle Cone has kids. That's exactly what I wanted to hear because he has the hardest balance of us all because like, like Fish Shoot. I know like we three of us have jobs. I know GamerHeroine's doing art and stuff, commissions and full time. She's just as busy, and I just wanted like I know with children as people who are currently in the stages of planning a family, that it's going to get quite a bit more difficult. The thing that I always told people was obviously communication is key, but I know in my scenario, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but like my wife lets me stream. Like the reason that it works is because she's cool with it. Like she's cool with me sacrificing so much time and energy into this thing. So having a significant other that's like an absolute rock star is a really big deal. And then I really love the communication. Just talking to her, but like I saw my wife for 5 minutes today, all day, in between my regular stream when I was scarfing down Taco Bell, and then I said, "Hey, we're gonna go do the podcast. It's nice to see you. I'll see you in the morning." And that, and she's like, "Have a good show." That's big. Someone who can realize just how important this is to us. And it wasn't that way at first until I started to get like a little bit of a following, and then she kind of like enjoyed the community aspect of Twitch, and then she opened up a lot more to the platform, and it's been a lot of fun since then. But scheduling, communication, and making sure that like every once in a while, like I cancel a stream if she had a bad day or something. Like I will cancel a stream to take my wife out to dinner. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Because she sacrifices a lot of time in order for me to do this stuff. So I loved that answer. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, and that's why I proposed the question.
Yeah,
no, that's a good man.
It's something that Waffle and I have talked about, basically, like I said, since I've known him. And I mean, I gotta say that I have like zero work-life stream balance. Like, I don't have that balance.
You just go insane.
Yes.
This is the perfect example of going ham when it comes to streaming.
I mean, it's been this way for a while, but I'm all in. I'm all in on Twitch. I've been all in for, a long time now. And certainly, like, I have sacrificed aspects of my personal life for stream, for better or worse. You know what I mean? Like, for better or worse. But, it's come home, depending on how much sleep I got the night before, maybe like napping for 45 minutes, stream, and then, after the stream is work too. It's like kind of both networking and, I play games just to wind down after the stream, because it's like I used to work an overnight job sometimes, like when I managed a Blockbuster Video, so
hey, that went places.
I managed a Blockbuster. We used to work late, sometimes till midnight, sometimes later on the weekends, and I can't just come home and go to sleep. And so the stream is similar in that once the stream's over, it's like my first time to decompress for the entire day. So there's sometimes hours of just like relaxing, playing games, talking with friends, GamerHeroine on the Discord. It's like Gamer keeps me up because it might be 2 a.m. here, but it's like midnight there, and it's 3 hours past her bedtime. So
that's happened to me a couple of times.
Right? Yeah. Guys? Jeez. But it is like, and absolutely, Book Fairy is a rock star, Banyan, and demanding that I tell her that in the chat. But she is, and she's part of the community as well, Dice. So I definitely understand what you mean as far as like once she understood like what it was, because before we met, she had no she had no base for what Twitch was or how it worked or any of that. But she definitely supports me, and as far as like, especially when we got together, it was like, this is something I do. I'm going to spend a lot of time doing it. And if you're not okay with that, I get it. But at the same time, like I said, I'm all in. And so I'm going to spend a significant amount of what my free time is, trying to make something of this stream. And so, but she definitely is supportive of that. But a lot of times I definitely don't feel like that balance is there. And but at very least, like, it's like I'm aware of it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm sacrificing all these things and I'm like, oh, everything's just, fine. I haven't given up anything for this. Like, I'm aware of the sacrifices that I'm making. I think that it's worth it. But yeah, I don't feel like I do have that balance there. GH, what do you think? You're GH in their 80-hour work weeks.
Yeah, it's hard to find a balance, but I try and make like at least dinner time and like some parts of the weekends just boyfriend time. Like let's just hang out. Like even before stream tonight, we went and played some Mario Party. Like it's
She
like this is
lost.
our time. I, we didn't have to discuss that part. We
I'm
could have
just
just like
saying.
left that out.
Hey, I'm just filling everyone in.
There's 20 coins, guys.
20
Not even a
coins, come on,
star.
W's a W. I mean,
But I'm at least lucky that he is as into video games as I am. And so at least like if we're playing games after stream, like we can at least hang out then. Like at least like it's not complete isolation. He's not as involved in Twitch as like Cone or Mrs. No Dice, but at least like he's there after when I'm done with stream. And it's kind of nice to have that separation. Like him not being in my chat like pretty much ever is kind of nice because I can tell him things that happened or like get his unbiased perspective. Yeah. It's hard to find a balance though, like with like everything else. Like finding time to clean, finding time to do this hobby, hang out with IRL people. It's like just winging it, getting better at it as I go.
Well, you just have so many different facets of like how streaming affects you though. I feel like GH, like for me, it's essentially like when I stream and like hanging out in other streams. And that's about the extent of how streaming affects me. Whereas with you, it's like, okay, well, you've got a stream, then you do a ton of stuff for Ladders Down. You do all kinds of stuff for like commissions and all kinds of other different like not only hobbies, but you know, things that you actually do for like your livelihood that are woven into the fabrics of Twitch and streaming and stuff like that. So I can't imagine how hard it is for you to ever like fully disconnect from Twitch. Like I feel like no matter what, like you're probably in some way, like unless you're just straight up hanging out with the BF, like chilling completely somewhere else. Like I feel like
it's
you always kind of have your roots somewhere.
She's doing art right now. She's making somebody an emo right now.
So I'm sure that's very hard though for you.
A couple times during this we brought up too, just to kind of move on to the next thing. A couple of us said like playing games off stream. I think playing games while not streaming is super important to the quality of your stream. I think it's really, and like mental health as well. When I first started streaming, like every game I was playing I was streaming it. Every single time I fired up PUBG or was playing Hearthstone, we were streaming it. Like I was always live with that stuff. And that led to like, you know, I streamed every day for the first like 3 months I was on Twitch. I was doing just, we've been on stream for 13 hours, like that kind of stuff. Like it was always streaming. And now it's like, I really enjoy that time where I'm not streaming, where I can just kick back. These bright ass lights aren't on, you know what I mean? And just like
slam some nugs.
Well, I mean, I'll slam a nug on the stream. Don't get me wrong.
Or 100.
But if you're off stream, you'll just mute yourself, and we'll be like, he hasn't talked for 20 minutes, and then like you hear, yep, sorry.
I got the 20 taco box, GH. It's gonna be a while.
You get the 69
he hasn't bored us. He's like, I'm gonna be quiet because a meeting. It's just like, where'd Fish go? I'm right here.
But I think it's really important to have that time where you're gaming and not streaming. What do you think, No Dice? Do you spend a lot of times playing games when you're not live?
Yes, but only because the game that I want to play the most, I'm not allowed to stream yet, which is classic World of Warcraft.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
I don't play much stuff off stream because I don't have a lot of time to game away from the stream anyway. Like unless I just deprive myself of more sleep, which is definitely something I've done. Most of the like recently, just like classic WoW servers are going to come out, and when they launch, I'll actually be allowed to stream it. Until then, playing on the private servers that I do, that's prohibited by Blizzard. Therefore, it's a bannable offense by Twitch. So if I want to play that game at all, I have to do it off stream.
Soon though, right?
Soon though, yeah. I've got my BlizzCon ticket, so I'll be streaming the demo at the beginning of next month.
Awesome, man.
But other than that, I don't play a whole lot off stream. If I can stream it, I usually do. Except for like on the rare occasion I play BRs, just because those aren't the types of game that I like to stream, or something like that. But I don't play a
BR,
lot
you
of
said?
game. Yeah, battle royales, BRs,
Oh,
B-boy.
I heard V. Like,
Yeah, I don't have a
I
VR
was like,
rig.
"You have VR?" I was
Um,
all excited.
But I will say, to your point, even though I don't do it all
You
that
froze
often,
it?
Wait, am I frozen?
you froze in the perfect spot. You froze in the most perfect position. I will say, even though I don't have a lot of time to do it, I really enjoyed that time because it also allows me to watch a lot of broadcasters that I don't get to watch. I don't have as much time to watch Twitch as I used to. So there'd be days where like, I mean, we don't need to go into details. My wife has those, but there would be days where I would wake up on a day off and I would decide preemptively while I was still in bed, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm not going to do anything adult, productive, anything. And I would put on like half a full outfit of clothing and I would sit in my computer chair and I would lurk GH and I'd watch Waffle and I'd turn on like Kit Boga on the second monitor. I'd just browse streams all day and I played Classic WoW for like 8.5 hours straight. And it was like, this was a good day. This was a really good day.
Very productive.
It's a really good day. So while I don't do it very often, I do agree it's a great mental refresher from what we do. I didn't say a word. I didn't have to talk. I didn't say, just complete silence. Streams,
Right.
game,
Yep.
and like a pile of beef jerky and a couple of day beers. Like those were good days. Those were really good
It sounds
days.
delicious.
It wasn't that Philly cheesesteak beef jerky.
No, that was a one-time mistake. That was a one-time mistake. I've got all my Slim Jim issues worked out. I'm a Slim Jim connoisseur now. I've tried them all because I never had anything but the regular and the spicy. The Philly cheesesteak Slim Jim really opened up my mind. Like, what else could this be?
Has
So-
it entered the regular rotation now, Dice? Or?
No, but
Okay.
I did go to the store and buy one of every kind of Slim Jim they had.
Oh
And-
gosh.
What was the
You had a
worst
Slim
one?
Jim buffet.
What was the worst
The
one?
worst one was like a curry flavor.
Oh.
And I don't mind like Indian food. I don't mind curry, but it did not work with the Slim Jim. I did have another Philly cheesesteak though. I did buy one more and ate it. It was okay. It was okay.
What was the word you used for that?
Disappointment.
Disappointment.
You were supposed to add it to your lexicon, GamerHeroine.
In the lexicon now. Dice, it's not coming out. So GH and Waffle Cone, you guys both play, I would say, very different games off stream than what you do on your streams.
It's true.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
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 Is
'Cause
there?
I'm
It's either
a
for
bunch
like
of
tech. It's I
garbage.
know some of it's like technical reasons. Like there's certain games that my computer won't run and stream at the same time. I know Tarkov is one of them for you, Waffle Cone.
Yeah.
And do you think it's just your audience is expecting like a certain type of game, or what is there a reasoning behind it?
What do you say, GH? You've just got something eating at you. I know it.
I just like because you at least play Rainbow Six on stream, so you have a nice mixture of single player and multiplayer. Whereas like for me, it's more like I only do single player on stream and then I only do multiplayer off stream for the most part. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely days I test games that are single player before I play them on stream, but most of the time if I'm playing off stream, it's multiplayer. For you, I was trying to guess yours. That's why I had a face.
No, I mean for me it's like and a lot of times I default to the Wifeful Cone's opinion because honestly I would say at least 50% of the time I'm streaming she's probably in the room, if not more. And she's extremely honest to me sometimes. She's just like, I don't think you should play that game anymore. Like you are not like the fun you when you play that game. And she's like, if I was on Twitch and like I was the type of person that like watched Twitch a ton, like I would not want to watch you because that was no fun. I was like, all right, that's cool. Good talk. I'm gonna go cry in the bathtub for a little bit. But no, it's good. It's good. Like I used to play Dead by Daylight a lot, and she was like, I hate when you stream Dead by Daylight. Like it's just I've seen you when you're really fun on streams, and I do not like it when you stream Dead by Daylight. And she said the same about Siege. And I think now that I've like kind of really kind of sat back and looked at it from kind of a little outside, out of the body experience, I'm like, I think you're totally right. And one thing that you guys probably all do that I do not do and I refuse to do is I will not watch my VODs for a lot of reasons. And listen, I'm at this point in my career of Twitch, I don't have any illusions about becoming partnered anytime soon. So for me, I kind of have that excuse. But
I'm gonna come to
no,
Kentucky and slap you on the wrist. I'm gonna
That's
come
fine,
all the
that's
way
fine.
down there.
I
That's
had
fine.
no idea. This is like your deep dark secret.
No,
You don't
I
watch your
don't watch my
VODs.
VODs because like for multiple, like it just embarrasses me and lots of things. But for me, I try and look for games that I honestly probably wouldn't play off stream. That like are these almost like, and a lot of them, I think we can all gladly agree that a lot of them have been big swing and misses. But occasionally I'll find that gem that just really was a really cool, fun experience that brings out like just the laughter and the crazy waffle. And those are the ones that's the high that I chase are those games. And I would never play those games off stream. Like I would never just sit down and play Stanley Parable just for kicks and giggles. Like I'd rather play Tarkov or Siege or something like that. And or at least go back to some of my old throwbacks. If I'm gonna sit down and play a game, like I'll go play some N64 or one of my old games and replay one of those. But so yeah, I think for me, I'm looking for an experience rather than something that I like. I'm looking for an experience before it's something that I thoroughly enjoy.
How much RimWorld do you play off stream, GH?
I don't want to talk about it.
Do you really play RimWorld off stream?
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
Like at
How
least
can you
like
play
10
that
hours
much
a week.
RimWorld?
At least 10 hours a week is really bad. I
Oh
have
my
such an
God.
addiction. It's especially bad doing Inktober because I've been doing so much art and creative streams that like I don't think I can justify playing RimWorld just as my default game on stream. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna put it on 5 times speed and I'm just gonna play this real fast.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it's so bad.
A lot of people who watch GH would probably be surprised at like the amount of Rainbow Six Siege, like new Battle Royale, like we've been playing Ring of Elysium, like Rocket League, like GH has got like hundreds of hours in all those games pretty much, but you've never seen her stream them. So that's why I was asking specifically, like I mean, I hate to dig deep on this, GH, but do you think it's just do you think your community wouldn't like to watch you watch those? It's just a multiplayer aspect of them? Or?
So I actually started as we discussed last week when we were showing like really old clips, like I did start playing Overwatch. Like that was like one of the first things I ever streamed. And then I did stream PUBG at one point, like way back in the day. But me being in the time slot I am, it's like a really weird time for people to join in. And so I'd almost rather either not have anyone join or get a full squad. It's like really like a weird balance with doing morning streams.
Yeah, I've seen you have a tough time with games like Jackbox where there's just like where I would love to join, but I'm at work and many other people
I have a lot of twerkers
and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of twerkers.
A lot of twerking.
Add that to your lexicon.
Oh, twerkers! Oh my God, it's genius!
At work for GH.
Oh, that's so good.
But I have people dying to play multiplayer games with me, but I'm like, it just doesn't work as well with my stream. Like, I get my multiplayer streaming with you, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about schedules. Like, you're a daytime streamer, GH. No Dice and I start about 2 hours apart. Waffle's our weekend warrior.
Something like that.
Did we start? I mean, I certainly didn't start with the schedule. Like I said, I was just streaming whenever I wanted to stream.
Yeah, I think it's good not to have a schedule starting. So
I think so too. I do. At what point did you guys say like, okay, I need to sit down and actually work out what my days are going to be, what my stream schedule is going to be like? I'm going to take off days. These are going to be the days. At what point did you actually decide that? And do you think at what point would you think that somebody should do that as a streamer, starting out? Wafflecone, I think you sat down with Wafflecone and actually hammered this out, didn't you? Like you said, like these are the days that I can do this, and
I just think we kind of sat down and were like, hey, I'm just streaming like every second that I can, and that can be a very toxic situation. Because especially when you're starting off, you're just so like you have that bloodlust for streaming, right? It's like you need to just grind every second that you can, and so I just think it leads to a lot of other things being neglected. And so yeah, we just sat down, we're like, hey, what's realistic? Like, for 4 or 5 days, it's probably too much. I'd like to stream more than a day a week, and sometimes I'd like to get in a solid 2 and 3. And so we just were settled on, I'm going to stream 3 days a week. I'm going to stream Wednesday nights, and then Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons. And if we have to change that, then we have to change it. If we have to cancel a stream, that's fine. But I kind of decided, if I'm going to cancel a stream, I'm not going to try and fill it in. I'm just going to, like, if that stream doesn't make it, then on to the next. And it's worked out because it's just kind of built into our family like structure now. Like, we just know on Saturdays and Sundays when we put the kids down for a nap, that's stream time. And I'm sure anyone that's watched my stream, especially if she has to leave the house, I'm like, crap, one of my kids is screaming. I'll be right back, guys. So it at least gets built into the routine. And I feel like, some people might say routines are just boring and that not for them, and that's great.
No.
But for us, for a family like us, we have to have a routine, and at least a loose routine. And so just having that built in there, I think, is at least gives a little bit of peace of mind. So that, yeah, we had to after a certain point. I would say you asked when should someone do that. I would say if it's going to hurt relationships or any circumstances in your real life, I would say as soon as it starts, like, you even think it's going to start hurting those things. Otherwise, I don't know. I would say maybe after you're affiliated and you've kind of got through a little bit of the grind, maybe come up with a solid, 2 or 3 days and times that you can stick to.
I would say it wouldn't even need to be, yeah, and it can be like, like the coolest parties, 5 to question mark. I don't think you need to limit
Right.
yourself on.
Oh, sure.
I don't think Dice, the question mark means it could go as late as you want.
I understand that. Yes.
Okay, I
Right.
just want to make sure we're on the
I've
same
been
page.
to a party or two. Okay.
Okay. But I think that's a really good point, Waffle. It's like, I just think that if you're trying to build a community, and that's the reason that you're streaming, that people need to know when they can find you on Twitch. When am I going to plan out? I know a lot of people come to Twitch, and I do the same thing, and I do let's see who's streaming, right? Like, let's see who's on right now and who we're going to watch tonight. But if you have that favorite streamer that you really love to tune in and watch as much as possible, you know what their schedule is. I mean, when they're going to go live, and I think that's important for those people who are going to be your biggest, community, the most active community members. Those people need to know exactly when you're going to be online to find you. But it can still be one of the, 5 to question mark. I will be on at 5. We don't know when we're going to end. It may be 2 hours. It may be 6, depending on what we're doing. But
Yeah.
I do think it's really important. And I do have kind of set end times that I'm going to end during the week, especially because, I got to go to work the next day. And so I want to make sure that, like, it's like everybody knows if they're coming in at 9:30, they're not going to get a whole lot of fish stream because it's, we're about to call it a night if it's during one of those weeknights. But on Friday, Saturday, if we're having fun, I've done impromptu, 8-hour streams before. It all depends on what we're doing, but everybody knows that if you turn in at 6:00 on these nights, you're going to be able to see the stream. And I established that schedule, like, I would say probably within 4 months of me starting, and I've pretty much kept that schedule since then. So it's been almost a year where we've had this schedule, and it's really been very beneficial, I think, to especially that community building aspect. How long did you go, Dice, before you said, I'm going to be at 8 p.m. 5 nights a week?
I'm trying to remember exactly like when the transition like happened. Like when I went from just like streaming every single possible moment that I could to a set thing. And I ended up doing it because like everything I read was like, if you want to grow on Twitch, you have to have a schedule. If you want to grow on Twitch, you have to have a schedule. And I'm like, that makes sense. I have seen no direct growth purely from my schedule at all, but it does help the community a lot.
It does help regulars.
Yeah, it absolutely does, but it doesn't guarantee any. It doesn't
No.
guarantee any substantial
There's
growth.
very few guarantees on
Very
on
few
this
guaranteed.
website.
I made the transition because I wanted to, like Waffle said, I wanted to work out a situation with my wife and family that would be comfortable enough to where I felt like I was streaming enough because I had gotten up to like 200 or 300 followers. I haven't even started networking. It was purely like 8 and 10 hour grinds on my days off. I wanted to get to a situation where like I had time to like mow the lawn and like run an errand and designated times to take care of my real life stuff because a lot of that had fallen by the wayside because I had that bloodlust that this guy was talking about. I was just like, gotta be live all the time,
Yeah.
you know?
100%, dude.
So it was when I felt like it was stable enough. I was averaging maybe like 7 or 8 viewers a show or something. I felt like it was stable enough for me to start directing it and handling everything else a little bit better. And so I don't stream weekends unless it's impromptu and random. And it's just 5 days a week. That way I can kind of treat it like a second job. Like in my own head, it's like I have to be on time for this, which I'm terrible about, but I'm trying. I gotta be on time for this thing. I gotta show up and do this thing, and this is what people are going to expect. And then I've still got my weekends to like go see my grandparents or take a day with Ange and go to the movies or whatever. But I feel at that point like I'm streaming enough, and without blocking up my regular day-to-day life. It's
Right.
good. It's good for my mental health to know that
Yeah.
when I wake up on a day off, people aren't necessarily expecting a stream. So I can go do other things. And then if I want to stream for a couple hours and I got the time, then I can do it anyway. And some long-lost European viewer will show up like, hey, no dice, haven't seen you in forever. It's like, oh, hey, Swedish guy, welcome back. You know what I mean?
So
Swedish
would you say
guy.
it's better to underschedule and then have bonus streams?
I think it's better to always under-promise and over-deliver. I think it's better to under-promise and over-deliver. My stream is 8 to 11. Unless I happen to go till like 2 in the morning because I'm having a good time. But I will never say on Discord, we're going to stream till like 2 a.m. today because I might get tired or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under promise, over deliver, always. And that's not just Twitch, that's like everything with your day-to-day lives. Don't set your expectations too high, and then you can knock it out of the park.
GH, you have a pretty solid schedule as well that you keep for the most part.
Yeah. Well, even at the beginning, I had a hard time picking when I'd start because when I wake up, like that's like number one productivity time. And so like
Yeah,
some
me
days
too.
I would just stream maintenance too long and then I wouldn't start on like my imaginary flexible time. And then like I like to make dinner. And so like that would naturally fall like finish stream, like talk to whoever I host a little bit, clean up stuff, dinner. Like that was like just kind of the schedule I naturally fell into. So, but some days like games suck and I do not want to keep playing, and so like it's kind of nice to like like today I had like 3 like right in a row terrible games. It was like, nah, we're done today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
This is
I do want to say I wish I could have GH's schedule. I wish I could be a daytime streamer, man.
I wish that I could.
Prime time, I feel like I'm competing with so many members of like just our own community, like so many
Sure,
people
yeah.
because we all have jobs. We have to stream after work. I wish I could
yeah.
wake up and go to work in my office. That's the dream one day. But man,
Let's all move to Australia.
yeah,
And we'll be
Oh.
fine.
yeah. Is that how that works?
Well,
I don't
you
think
already
that's how
do
that
a
works.
you already do a bang up Australian accent, so you're like it's like
Happy
halfway,
birthday!
like halfway there.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Just this question actually comes from a community member, Seldrick, who's a really awesome German streamer in our Ladders Down community. Book Fair, if you wouldn't mind dropping a shout out to Seldrick. To Dice, you said you described your stream as kind of like a part-time job, and I feel the exact same way because I'm putting so much effort into it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I mean, you can certainly drop a lot of effort into a hobby, but I think that streaming for me has surpassed the hobby part of it, and I do think of it as kind of like a part-time job. And do you think that goes hand in hand with having the schedule? Like, is this, I don't know, is streaming work? Is it work? And is it less fun because it's work?
Well, for that exact reason, I don't consider it a part-time job. I want to make it feel like a part-time job, but it's still a hobby.
So you're taking it as seriously as you would a job? Is that what
Yes.
you're
Yeah, I consider it a hobby that I treat like a full-time job.
okay?
It could be any hobby. Like
So
if you're into doing jigsaw puzzles and you really want to just be the best jigsaw puzzler out there, I'm gonna jigsaw puzzle from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. 5 days a week. You know what I mean? But it's still a hobby because you love puzzles, right?
I'm just
It's the
glad
same-
you used the analogy.
It's it
jig
is.
pop-
It's
jigsaw
I
puzzle.
love puzzles.
it's a hobby. It's a hobby that I take very, very seriously. But I would I'll never consider it a job because it feels nothing like my actual job. You know what I mean?
when you have 1,000 subs and you're working at Twitch and you're not doing anything else,
At the
is
Twitch
it a job?
headquarters.
At that point, it will be a job. Twitch
Okay.
can be
Yeah.
Twitch can surely be a job when it is my sole purpose
But,
and
it is my
income.
job.
but up until
Yeah,
that
until
up
that
until
point, it's
no
not a
dice,
job.
it's not a job.
Not in my opinion, no. Now that's not to say it isn't work. It's not to say it isn't work because there's a lot of work that goes into being a regular streamer who is actively putting in effort. There's a lot of work. That doesn't make it a job though. Not in my opinion.
That's interesting.
You can treat it like one.
We have colliding thoughts here. Colliding
I don't
thoughts.
necessarily disagree with that.
Because
I just-
here's and I don't do it for I'll try to explain my mindset a little bit more. I've never worked a job that I've loved.
Hi, I'm Fish.
That's
nice
fair.
to meet you.
Right. So for me, so if I start calling something a job, it automatically has a negative impact in my mind. A job to me is something that I've always had to do to not starve to death under a bridge somewhere, homeless. You know what I mean? Like a job is mandatory. This is
Yeah.
something I really enjoy doing. Even when I was teaching music or any other side gig that I've ever done, I never considered it a job, even if I treated it as seriously as one. It's if I start thinking about it in that way, it devalues what I'm doing.
Well, I think
a
that
little
gets
bit.
to the heart of what he's asking. I think that's what Seldrick is asking. It's like, is it is it work? And if you say it's work, is it less fun?
It is work.
But it's not a job.
But it's work, but it's not a job. But I don't think it makes it less fun.
Okay.
It would make it less fun if I made it a job. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Is a podcast a sandwich?
Everything's so confusing.
All right, you asked the real question. Is a podcast a sandwich?
But
I mean,
job
Gamer
does
Heroine,
carry
Twitch is
like
your
a
job, right?
connotation.
I mean, would you say
Yeah.
that Twitch is your job? Your
Yeah.
job is Twitch, right? I mean,
Yeah.
not just streaming, but like
I
all aspects.
tell IRL people that like don't know Twitch I do art for a living, which is fine because then they're like, oh, like that makes more sense to me. And then like I even do art live, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me. But if I like, I think of Twitch as my job. That is my first and foremost my job. But I don't have like any sort of negative connotation with that. It just makes me like think more about my interactions with people, trying to make it professional, trying to make sure that like I don't step on anyone's toes, but I'm clear and cut with what I have to say. I try and keep a schedule, and if I'm late, like I feel guilty as I
Mhm.
would as if I was late for my IRL job, which I don't.
I think you mean your
Sadly.
IJC job, your in just chatting. job?
in just chatting job. But I try and treat it professionally, and that's why I so mentally readily call it a job in my mind. I don't have that negative connotation with the word job. So, but I could see where No Dice is coming from.
For sure. For sure. Waffle, do you think that, I mean, at what point is it, at what point is too much?
We can treat this honestly. I'm completely different ball game than you guys here.
No, but you put a lot of work in, like you put a lot of time in. You do a lot of you do a lot more networking, I think, than you give yourself credit for, which is
I'll
part
agree
of
with that statement. So like, here's the thing. This isn't like the type of hobby. I'm trying to think of something I could compare it to, like dudes that
Jigsaw
just like
puzzles.
go out and play golf,
Puzzles.
or like go hunting and stuff like that. Like I think for the most part, those people just go out and they just have a ball. And like ultimately, at the end of the day, like you have no idea how sacred in this household nap time is, especially if it's successful. Like if those
I
kids
love
shut
nap time.
their mouth and shut their eyes and become unconscious for like an hour, like God bless us all if that happens, because it's a fantastic thing. And I can't tell you how many Saturdays, because like essentially my 2 days off, the kids' nap time is just gone because that's when I stream. And I can't tell you how many days where I'm just like, I just just want to curl up under a blanket and take a sweet naparoo. But
Waffle Cone, we
So-
both know that you don't take a nap under a blanket, that you take a nap on the floor.
on the floor, I do take naps on the floor. I fall asleep in my children's rooms when I'm putting them to bed. On the floor, it happens. It used to happen a lot more than it happens now.
Nothing wrong with a good floor nap, man. Embrace that floor. Especially if you got good
like
carpet.
a hard surface to sleep on.
Hashtag floor nap is now trending on Twitter.
Hashtag floor
Right.
naps.
But so for me, it is in some ways it's work because like I don't just like get this elated sense of like overwhelming joy like every time I do it. Like sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's like, man, I feel like this is at least a commitment. I will say it's a hard and fast commitment within a hobby for me. It's not like just some free and clear thing I can just do whenever I just want to have a good old time. So and I think I saw Matthew Grizzly said, you know, we all have good days and bad days. And so this is a hobby where you legit have bad days. And that's weird. Like some people will be like, it's a hobby. Like you're doing this to enjoy yourself. Why are you having bad days? And I think it's a weird kind of paradox of hobbies. And so we all have bad days. It doesn't have to be like you could even have a ton of people watching you and talking and you feel like everything's, you know, all hitting on all cylinders, but you could just still feel off. Something doesn't feel right. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be like the whole numbers game. It could be anything. You're just not feeling it. It's the game, like something. And so it's still something I love. It's something I will always love. And regardless if I am doing this when I'm 70, which I probably won't be, I'll always look back on it. But I'll always look back at it endearingly, even if I stop at some point. But it is definitely not your quintessential hobby. It's a very, very steadfast commitment of a hobby for most people, I would say, that do it.
So I mean, that's you kind of lead into something that No Dice touched on. And this is, I think anybody who streams and takes it seriously on Twitch is gonna need to figure out how to answer this question, or at least deal with it, which is, you know, remaining a positive during those slow streams that you just talked about, Waffle, or the ones you feel off, or the ones you're like, I would rather be doing literally anything else than this right now, but I have made a commitment to this. And that's kind of what, and I think everybody here is like, you miss a stream, you feel bad about it. I mean, you know, Waffle, you and I have talked about that. GamerHeroine, you missed yesterday's stream because your internet issues completely outside of your hands, but you felt bad about it at the same time. And so, but you know, we have all had those streams where everybody had plans, right? All of our regular viewers had plans. They were all out doing something that night, and you were just felt like you were there by yourself. Or, you know, after you've established this community, there's a certain expectation that, you know, you're going to have, you know, a few people in to keep you company at least. And some nights that just doesn't happen. And, you know, how do you keep yourself motivated through those slow times? Is there an answer to this question, guys? Or, you know what I mean?
I don't
like,
think there has to be.
Well,
I mean, someone might have like the magic serum, but
That'd be
I don't
nice.
think there even has to be.
You guys,
Like,
you
I
guys got the
think-
happy serum? Hook me up with that. Hook me up
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
happy serum.
I'm pretty sure the
Not legal
FBI might
ones,
investigate
too.
us after talking about this happy serum.
Congratulations, we're all on a list somewhere.
Oh, you're doing heroin.
With an E, like
Right. Heroin gamer. See what we did there? It's punny. But no, I think all of us that know each other well, that watch each other's streams, like I'm gonna be honest, I can tell when just about any of us is having a bad day. Like when I can, and Fish, you said it to me. I think it was Saturday. You sent me a private message when I called the stream. You're like, your heart just wasn't in it today, dude. And I was like,
I can.
yeah,
You can
it was
definitely
rough.
tell.
and
It just comes with knowing you guys as well, like all
Yeah.
of you, and what your attitudes are usually like on stream. And then you'll turn in one night, and I'll just be like, oof. Or like, you know, gamer, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, GH is not into this today. Like, I can tell
No.
she'd rather be doing something else right
I also
now.
have like a
Right.
coffee level. Like I could be into it and just not look like it because it's like caffeine.
Yeah, that's a big one.
yeah,
Um,
caffeine. That's the answer.
I had to deal with this recently. Like, was that my question
It was your
in
question.
Discord?
That
Did
was
I
a question from Nod Ice TV.
Nice.
Not Ice TV. Like I can use a recent experience actually. I had, if you want to just like talk purely numbers, I had one of the worst streams I've had since the beginning of the year last Friday. And Fish Shoot, you came by, you saw the numbers. It was almost low single digits, and I had
Yeah, I mean,
it was bad. It was really bad. Um, if you know, bad from like a numbers standpoint. And like I started
Right.
this Fallout 4 playthrough, and it was a lot of fun, and my numbers were steady and consistent. And then on Friday, they just dropped off out of nowhere. It felt, you know, I had a few lurkers and a couple of people dropped by to say hi, but it was really low. It was really low, and I felt discouraged after that one. Like literally the worst in like 9 months or something. Like if you were actually to like look at stats, and it puts you in a low place, because you feel like you feel in that instant it's like, oh, my channel's dying. It's dying. It's going down. Wrap it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's over. It's, you know what I mean? Like, but what I do is, I kind of like, after I kill the stream, I might end early or something if I'm just like, if I feel myself getting to a dark place where I'm just going to end up being worse on stream. I try to think about like positive experiences I've had throughout the time that I've been streaming. There are a couple of key moments that I have kind of stored in the back of my mind. Good things that have happened. I've had people tell me like, "Hey man, like I met my best friend through your channel." Cool. 2 viewers didn't know they both lived in California, and they're like an hour away, and like they go and have lunch and hang out and stuff now. And that wouldn't
really
have
cool.
happened if it wasn't, you know, for the community.
Yeah.
A couple of times a week, people meet up in my Discord, and like 5 or 6 people who may have never found each other otherwise, they all play Dungeons and Dragons together. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can think about all these times I've sort of been a catalyst for good. You know, like giving people the opportunity to make friends and build relationships and stuff like that. And I can usually dig myself out of the self-depression hole pretty quickly. But sometimes
You know,
it's bad.
our buddy Geeksay, who I think we should just mention in every single one of these podcasts, uh, he told me a long time ago about those bad streams that you have, or you know, whatever, to go and pull up your profile on Social Blade and look at where you were before as compared to where you are now, and know that, you know, that one stream is not the trend that you can see on that site, right? Like that one bad blip does not make or break it.
Yeah.
And certainly that's like easier advice to give than it is to take when you're in that moment, when you're in that place.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
But
yeah.
it does help. I mean, you can go and you can see like 4 months ago, you know, it wasn't even close to where this is now. And look, you can see your page views and your follows and stuff, and you can see where you've come from. And I think that does help. That helps me personally a lot with those bad days, and of which, you know, some have been very recent. For me and Dice, just to, you know, before I'll send over to Waffle and GH on this as well, but you know, your stream on Friday is, I was on Twitch obviously at that time, and I saw, you know what I mean, I saw you at that viewer level, and I was like, I mean, I made an effort to go in. I think that's one of the cool things about Ladders Down too, is because I've seen not just us, but all these other community members doing the same thing, which is to try and go and pick each other up. And you know, I saw you struggling that night. I mean, there's no shame in it. I mean, I saw you struggling that night, and I went and I tried to spend extra time, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Hanging out with you and chatting with you and asking you questions and you asking me questions, and just because I think that's what community is, and the larger Ladders Down community, I think that's what it is to try to lift each other up in those times when it's not as good.
Right.
That's the reason Ladders Down is here. It's certainly to celebrate the good times for sure, but it's also like, hey, somebody needs to pick me up right now, and you know, we're gonna rally and give that person what they need at this moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. GamerHeroine. Wait, is GamerHeroine there?
All I
No,
see is GamerHeroine.
She's roosting right now.
She's next door to Gray Mare Heroine.
Well, how about what do you? Oh no! Oh no!
What?
What just happened?
Gray bear hair? What? Oh my
There's
God.
a horse in my channel with like a fake wig of me and glasses. That's great.
You about killed me just now. That was dangerous. You need to be more
I'm
careful with your
sorry.
jokes.
I'm sorry. Blame him. 100% him.
Yeah, really.
Honestly, like
mean,
when I have a
How do you get through the grind times, GH?
I just kind of look sad and then afterwards like message you guys because I just feel down. Or like so I've had 2 semi-rough streams as of recent. One was I guess like a month ago at this point, but like I streamed on Saturday. It was a bonus stream. I don't stream on Saturdays. I promoted it well. A lot of my community knew. I Discord pinged it. I tweeted it. Like did the whole 9 yards, and I still did not have anyone, not a single soul besides my bot, for 30 minutes. And that was like heart-wrenching
Yeah.
because like compared to my average, like that was just nothing. You can't like that's not like 0 to any average. That was just bad. And I have not done a Saturday stream since because it's another double-sided sword with stream schedules. Is like people expect to see you out on at a certain time, and if you deviate, you might not get the same turnout.
Yeah.
And on those just regular slow days, like this whole week's been a little bit slower. I look at my average the whole month, not just like a single day. It's hard. It's so hard to not like focus on, well, Monday was terrible, and then like not see the beautiful silver lining of all the other days.
Sure.
Right.
So to like look at the bigger picture is good. To look at your monthly average and like the whole like year span or however many months you've been going, like it's nice to see like that gradual increase. Even if it's a plateau, at least you're not losing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and again, the one thing that I've always thought about when we do this podcast and just being kind of, one of the, I guess I picture myself as more of like a figurehead as far as being an admin of Ladders Down. But one thing I like that I can at least bring to the table is
Fuck you, off.
what?
Wow.
What?
There it is. Okay.
Anyway, come on. Let's be honest here. I didn't do that Ladders Down graphic. I didn't. That wasn't me.
But the beard maintenance.
I feel
sorry,
like
please
I can bring a completely different perspective, and I feel like that's one thing I can at least feel strongly that I can offer. And I'm gonna have a smaller margin of error, I guess, than you guys are. Like you guys can have those bigger swings, right? Because you hit some really cool milestones as far as viewers and people chatting and stuff like that. And so for me, I have kind of a smaller window that I live in. So in some ways that's good because I can't see super huge swings, but at the same time it's still tough when I'm like, oh man, I can't even maintain, on those bad days. I'm like, I can't even maintain this somewhat, smaller streamer number. And it's like, it really kills you because it's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about going from like 45 and then all of a sudden have a stream where you've got like 12 people. Like that is absolute punch to the stomach. It's like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about that. But it's still like, you have those days where it's like, oh, come on, man. It's like, just, give me throw me a bone. Just let me keep my normal little streamer number. And I've talked to a lot of people that have said, dude, I turn that viewer thing off. But then even when you do that, if there's like no one talking, you just like, oh crap. You almost just want to like turtle up in your shell, man, and just be like, oh gosh, I just want to run away. I think for me, sometimes like back in the day, like when I started, I probably handled it better than I do now because I was so used to it. Like I would just talk. And now, like if there's no one talking, I'm probably just like, oh, I'm just gonna play the game. I'm just gonna and like some people will come in, they'll be like, oh my gosh, Waffle, you look so focused. I'm like, oh, am I streaming? Wait, what's happening? Am I so crap, I'm streaming. I'm not just sitting here playing BioShock or Siege or something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's tough, but I think more than anything, you just kind of have to power through, and not only are you gonna have that kind of ebb and flow as far as just like day to day. There's also that ebb and flow of a stream, like you'll have like high points and low points just within a stream. Like a whole stream may not be a home run. You might have the first 2 hours where it's just like, man, boom, boom, boom. We're just all having a good time. We're all hanging out. Everyone's chatting. It's like the life, the life of the party on Twitch. You feel like at that moment, and then that last hour, it's like, oh crap, it's happening. Oh crap, no one's here. Oh crap, what just happened? Everyone's gone.
Yep.
So it's
Like,
it's funny how
yeah.
the ebb and flow can not only happen from day to day, but it can happen like literally like in moments of the stream. You can see that happening. So I it's funny, man. I think people on Twitch, they don't get enough credit because people outside of Twitch don't understand. You face a lot of adversity, and you really have to thicken your skin to be able to properly process like what you're experiencing sometimes. So it's tough for the brain to take sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like like you said, Waffle, it all comes with the expectation. If you didn't have the expectation, then it's like anybody in your stream is like, yay, somebody's here, that's awesome, you know what I mean? And then
Right.
but once you kind of have those expectations for what it's going to be, if it doesn't meet that, then it can be super disappointing. But I would just reiterate to do your best to go back and remember what it was to stream 2 months ago and 3 months ago and a year ago, for some of us, and just see where you've come from, right? Just see
Yeah.
what, and like Dice said, to see what you've built on Twitch, like see the people that you brought together, the things that what I like to think of as like sustaining things that people have said to you that you like are intangible, like you helped me be more confident, or like, I've had people say like I was in a deep depression, and spending this time on your stream has helped in some way. And that's like, that's, you can't measure that kind of stuff. And you don't think about it a lot of times because you're just a guy playing a video game. I mean, for the most part, but
Yeah, especially me.
yeah, can we all let's all stroke our beards?
Just a
for
guy
second.
playing a
Let's all
video
stroke our
game,
beards
man.
for a second. Okay, perfect, good. I think maybe we have time for like one more topic. I know we wanted to keep this around maybe an hour 15 or so. So let's go and talk actually about something in our streams, which is a question from our buddy Louis T. If we can get a shout out for Louis. Louis T. And it's just kind of a general question. And I think this actually affects smaller streamers more than it affects someone with between like, after you get 10 viewers or so in your regular 10 to 15, I think this actually affects you less, but it's how to deal with trolls in your channel. And I will just say that there's different types of trolls, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Like there's different types of trolls. There's trolls that are just gonna kind of give you the hard time, put you through the ringer, and you just got to kind of deal with it. And I don't mind those trolls. I think that they bring some kind of flavor sometimes. And I will say that personally, you can, like, I will take a deep amount of trolling. Like, I kind of think that I'm untrollable from that kind of a person. Like, those people usually, for me, don't end up with being banned or timed out. And just to put it out there, is that we don't time out people on my channel. It's a ban or nothing. It's one or the other. I don't think that 5 minutes of a timeout is going to change you fundamentally as a person. So, like, there's very few people get timed out. It's mostly a ban, but you can troll me pretty hard, and I will roll with it for a while, and I'll play along, and we'll do a little bit if that's what you want to do. But certainly, like, any kind of bigotry, racism, sexism, that kind of stuff is just is an absolute immediate ban. But so, like, there's a pretty fine line for me, I think, as far as like, I don't want to, if I ask you to do something or ask you to stop doing something and you don't, then you're banned. Like, it's pretty much an immediate thing. We're not going to play around with it, but I will roll with the punches quite a bit. What's your policy as far as, saying bye-bye to people in the chat? How do you deal with trolls?
Who wants to go first?
GH.
No
I've
Dice,
seen
I
you
know
ban
you
a-
have some great stories. I think No,
No
Dice
Dice
should
has the
go. Yeah.
most ridiculous troll story in my opinion.
Is this Madden? I'm assuming is what you guys are
Yes.
Dude,
referencing.
I can't believe that.
Oh my god.
What a horrible person.
My most dedicated troll ever was a guy named Madden 2000, and he was around for about a week, and he seemed okay at first, and then like he got in Discord, and all he would do in Discord was complain about getting banned from other Twitch channels.
It's a good sign.
And so it's like red flags, you know what I mean? Like red flags. And I'm like, hey, don't bring that here. I don't care what happened to this guy or whatever. And one night I'm streaming Albion, this like RuneScape game for like 2 days, and we got in a disagreement about paying a subscription fee for a game. And his exact words were, if you think it's okay to pay a monthly fee to play a video game, you should stick your head in a gas chamber. And I was like, okay, goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, and I will admit, like, when it comes to the actual question of like how to handle trolls, I handled that troll very poorly. It set me off because it had been like a week of me trying to get this dude to just calm down and be a normal person. I'd put a lot of like energy into him, and it didn't go anywhere. So I kind of flipped out for a good 10 or 15 minutes. But we banned him, and I was gonna move on. He proceeded to make like 6 new accounts: Madden 2000 new, Madden 2001 new, Madden 2000 old, Madden 2000 whatever. He made 6 or 7 accounts and kept coming back that night and like private messaging me and like saying all these terrible things. And then he finally disappeared. For like a week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then at one point, I'm playing Fallout New Vegas, and this guy named Vic and Vance, which is actually a reference to Fallout New Vegas, who had been watching the channel for a couple of weeks, revealed to me that it was Madden. He was like,
called a sociopath.
He was like, it's Madden! I'm back! It was me the whole time! And I was like, cool, ban. Like, so fast forward 2 months later, I get all these comments on my Twitter from a Madden Twitter account. And the Twitter profile literally says, I'm here to troll No Dice because he fucked up. He made a Twitter account just to troll me on Twitter. So we got that one banned. We like the whole community like target harassment report. Like we got the Twitter account banned really quick. And then he made like 2 or 3 more accounts. And I haven't seen him in about 4 months. He messaged me, I think it was right before May started, and said, hey, this is Madden. Just wanted you to know it's been fun, but I'm done now. And I was like, I'll see you next time. But he's so persistent. It's crazy. Like,
the thing
is
that's
the weirdest
disturbing
thing.
about this is that he talked about all the other channels he had been banned from. The only thing that I'm terrified of is that he replicated this exact scenario in multiple other streams.
He very well might have. The
Oh,
day
shit.
that I hear from another streamer who knows Madden, like I hope there's one day I'm telling a story and someone in my chat is like, dude, you had to deal with Madden too? He's the
Like,
worst.
That's not even a joke. That dude is a sociopath.
He
and
could be
he's
in chat
probably
right now.
going to murder somebody.
He could be watching right now. Madden, if
Macaroni
you're out
Rascal
there.
TV says, and I'll be back one day, no doubt.
Dude, he's crazy.
It was Mac all along.
But to handle the actual question, how do you handle trolls in your chat? One of my biggest things starting out, especially if we're talking from the smaller streamer angle, the like working for your first 10 viewers kind of thing, do not let toxic people be in your channel just because they are a number.
Mm-hmm.
Do not
talked about that a
tolerate
little bit
toxic
last
people.
week, I think.
Yeah, like I had an issue banning people at first because it was like, well, they're watching,
Sure.
but
Absolutely.
but the odds that people will chase other viewers away from your channel is too high.
It's not him, GH. It's not him. It's
Okay,
No,
that's
that's-
gotta be sticky,
It's
right?
Sticky Fork.
That's sticky, right?
That's Madden 2000 new. That's Sticky Fork. That's the account he made to troll Madden.
GH's face.
Yeah. So when Madden was around, I'm sorry, the stories are too good, man. Just some of his weird quirks as a viewer. He'd be
my
in chat,
God.
anytime anyone would type in chat that he didn't recognize. Keep in mind he'd been around for like 2 days. Anytime someone would say hi in chat, he'd be like, "Hey, are you new here?" Like he'd been around
Yeah.
since the first day I streamed. They're like, no, I've been following No Dice for months. I just wasn't here last night. Another person types in chat that he doesn't recognize. Hey, are you new here? And it's like, what are you doing, man? Stop doing it. So Sticky made that account, and then he greets everybody and asks if they're new here because he thinks it's funny. And I let him get away with it because he's Sticky. But to handle the actual, how do you handle trolls? Ban them. Don't tolerate it. Foster your own community in the way that you want. Enforce your own rules. Make sure you have a moderator team that you can trust. And if it comes to like really toxic or violent or just really evil, just bad trolls, then don't even acknowledge their existence. Just ban them immediately.
GH, I was doing a little light trolling on GamerHeroine last week and registered a new Twitch account in order to do that, in order to fulfill that need to troll GH. You know, it was the copyright on your website.
Oh God. I
Wait,
fixed
what?
that.
So
I
on
didn't
one
hear
of
this.
one of GamerHeroine's Wix sites, it says copyright. I'm assuming whoever made the template.
Sasha Blake, wasn't it?
It was Sasha. It's copyright Sasha Blake, and I was like,
I
was
it's
just giving her a hard time about it, and it was clearly bothering her. So I registered the Twitch account Sasha Blake, and I went into her chat. And actually, GH, I did not know this was a thing, but in order for me to actually type in your chat, I needed to register the Gmail account, Sasha Blake at gmail.com. So
Made
it
you
took
work
like
for
way
it.
longer. It was like way more investment to troll you than actually.
That's why I had email enabled in my chat for that
So
exact reason.
maybe, and I didn't honestly, after whatever it is, 15 months on the platform now, I did not know that this was a thing. So maybe after the stream, we can quickly show where the setting is.
No problem.
Because a lot of trolls will be like, well, I'll be back. I'm just going to register a new account and I'll be right back. And obviously, if they're that dedicated to it, it's not going to stop them. But it was certainly like I had to spend a long time to
I can
troll
just imagine you and Deadpool being like, God damn it.
I had to get the damn email set up, and I was like, oh, like seriously, it took 5 minutes, and like halfway through, I was like, this is not worth it. But I'm so invested at this point in this troll that I have to.
I think I even banned her. Like you had to
and
use
it was
block
2
hours to
seconds, and she
unban
banned me, and I was like, oh well, that was totally worth it. But if anybody wants to email me, you can email me.
Sasha Blake at gmail.com.
Sasha Blake, I don't even know what the email
She
was.
probably
anymore.
like one day like I'm gonna make a new Gmail. Fuck.
Oh God, somebody has it. No, it was something.
Who the fuck did Sasha Blake?
But I think honestly, I did not know that was an option, and so maybe we can even show or post something to the Discord that shows how to set that up, because that is a super good way to ensure that that people, you're not going to ban some guy and then he's just going to come immediately back in, and or at least you're going to really make him work for that troll a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was something, like I said, I just didn't even know, and I've been on this platform for 15 months and dealt with my fair share of trolls.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's cool. I didn't really. Do you have anything to add, GH? As far as like we just lost
GH. Oh, the whole stream is broken now.
No.
Okay, all right, now it's
Everything's
better. All right, there we go.
GH just
What
leaves.
the hell?
If her camera leaves,
God.
it breaks everything.
Oh God.
Yeah,
What the
just
hell?
got trolled
Okay.
by the
She's
Discord gremlins.
This it's like right now is the time that we
GH was
should
banned
update
for
right this
trolling.
moment.
GH, you have like very little tolerance for trolls too. It's
try
and a
and
lot of trolls
sort
come at you
them.
with like sex stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I try and sort them if they're like benign, if they're like Kirby or Louie or Sticky Fork type trolls, which are like more like joshing you kind of trolls, and then like the benign trolls are like secret trolls, and then like one day they're just gonna hit you with a brick in the back of the head when you're looking the other way, and then there's like the upfront toxic trolls. I don't get the follow trolls like you do. That I think might be a good idea to have like mods set up with extra accounts to just clear it as your recent follow. But I try and filter them out. Some I can diffuse. Like I had one guy come in with this big rate, and it was fantastic. Got like 60 people there all talking. They hung out for like an hour or two. And one guy like came at me like with like horrible sexual harassment, and I was like, hey dude, I don't appreciate that. Rather than immediately banning him because he had tons of friends in the channel, I was like, this is a weird situation. If I ban him, I might like also lose these other people for like judging him before I know him. Luckily, he never came back, but he did apologize before he left, which that felt like a victory for the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
if I can get a guy who like was blatantly being rude and way out of place, like no matter how well you know someone, apologize to me before he leaves. But it was scary as fuck because like all the mods were like AFK or twerking, and it was like, Oh, and actually, something we should also mention is code words.
Code words.
What?
Yeah, so Fish,
For
Fish
mods.
and myself, and I've never heard Waffle use it, so maybe he does.
I don't know. I'm really lazy.
We have a thing with our mod teams that if we say a certain word, it means get him the fuck out of my chat right now.
Right.
No,
And
see,
so,
I just say get him the fuck out of my chat right now.
well, you
That's
can
normally
casually
what
say
I
it
say.
and
I
not
like your approach, no dice.
I switch it to full screen. I'm like, ban this motherfucker now. I make a big spectacle out of it because I think it's fun.
Oh, nice.
I've never thought of this 007 approach to.
We
to
just say
banning
banana.
trolls.
I'll just
Yeah,
be
it's
like,
just
Is it
banana.
banana?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's banana's our code word, and people know, and then people be messaging me like whispering me, "Hey, Fish, banana," and I'm like, no, we're cool. It's
Are
all
there
cool.
Yeah.
are there any other fruit-based code words that you have?
I wish there were
Produce-based?
because we say banana an awkwardly large amount of the time. You'd think you wouldn't, but then we have like
Yeah.
people like Banana God and
I say
It's
orange.
banned all the time. That poor guy. Oh my god, you just did the
You need to
fish
use-
laugh.
Did the old man
She
laugh?
squealed.
The old man fish laugh. That's so funny. No, I use orange when I don't ban someone, and I say, "Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?"
Ah, he got the
Thank you guys so much
zingers.
for tuning in. Dice, do you get follow trolls with the names?
Oh yeah. The most recent ones I've gotten are variations on ice
Yep.
and then wallow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then at the end,
mhm,
I got a
yeah.
lot of like racist ones for a little while, and they try to get
I
don't
because
get those.
but because they know.
nonstop for a while. It was nonstop,
Yeah.
but I've never seen GH get a single one.
I haven't. I only get the
Yeah,
eye
never
swallows,
gotten one.
like eye swallows and Dixie Rex and stuff. It's
I
like,
haven't
okay,
got. I
cool.
did
what was the one
that
I
now.
fell for Fish?
That one
that
got
I
me.
said like a bunch
That
of
one-
times before you're like,
Oh, it was Gamer. I don't know if you guys know this, but Gamer loves genitals.
I
love-
love that one for like
I
an
like
hour.
genitals. Thank you for the follow. Thank you
Fish
so
didn't
much.
correct me right away. He just let it go for a bit.
How's it
and then
going,
he messaged
genitals?
with-
Waffle said one. Waffle
I
said
did
one.
say one. I did
Yeah.
say one.
The
You
only
got
one
I've never
that-
said one. I will hang my hat on the fact that I've never said one. I mean, how do you deal with it, Dice? Because
I
I mean,
was
you
sti-
see it come up, and I just honestly, I think in that situation, giving it the least possible attention is the best way to go. Like literally, we will just be like, I'll just be like, ban that person, and then we'll, sometimes just hide the. I have a recent follower on the stream. We'll hide that
Mhm.
until the next follow comes along or whatever. Or I'll be like, hey, does anybody have a bot they could log onto real quick and drop the follow so we can get this off the stream?
Yeah.
But I mean, is that kind of your policy as well?
I was a lot like you in the fact that I was proud I'd never fallen for it because the whole
Mhm.
point of those troll names is because they know we're gonna thank our followers.
Right.
And oh, he said the thing. I'd be happy about myself. That's what's going on in these people's minds. I was like a perfect 60-0 record. Nothing had gotten past me. And then next thing you know, Dixie Wrecked, thank for the follow. God damn it!
Yeah.
We went.
I think that was my favorite. Is the
You
my
You
Next
got,
level.
you got me. I gifted him a sub. I was so proud of him. Someone finally got me. I was like, my perfect record streak. Most of the, but that one was. I mean, that's not terrible.
that's not
you
as
know what I
bad.
mean? That's
No,
like
I mean, that's harmless.
the racist ones and
laugh
stuff like that.
about
I
it in
don't
channel.
Yeah,
acknowledge.
I only
Yeah.
get those dumb ones. I don't ever get follows, which I knock on wood, man. I hope that doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like whatever. It's
'Cause
just
it
there's
was like-
garbage human beings out there. It's gonna happen.
It was like Dixie DIXIE and then _wrecked, like you wrecked a car. And I
That's
was
so
like,
funny that you got the same guy.
I was so mad. How is he finally
Well,
got me?
I don't. This is just a conspiracy theory. But I've been told by someone close to me that there's actually someone in the community that makes up a lot of these fake names and never reveals themselves. So I sure hope they're not the ones doing the racist ones.
Oh no,
Oh,
I don't
probably
think so.
not.
So, and I say community very loosely. Like this person is connected to a community that's
Right.
like they really aren't a very strong part of any of our communities. More or less, this person that I've talked to. So I think that's at least some of mine and maybe some of other people's. But yeah, I don't know. I think that there's an ulterior motive to this question because my resident troll in my channel is Louis. So I think he's just trying to get to me, and I basically handed him a sword instead of banning him. So, but no,
Can't do that with most trolls.
right. But no, I'm kind of a potpourri when it comes to trolls. Like if it's just something that's just outright like, oh, you're a horrible person, like I'm banning you. I'm not even playing this game. But it just kind of depends on how I feel that day. Sometimes I'll just ignore it, and sometimes, it's like I'm just gonna absolutely, I don't know, just be stupid crazy towards them. But I don't get it enough near as much as you guys do. So I don't really have an approach to it, I guess.
If it's real bad, I just ban. I don't acknowledge, and I don't have any lists anymore or anything on my stream overlay, so I don't have to worry about that like you do, Fish.
Yeah.
I just don't acknowledge it if it's real bad. If it's funny or
it's
clever, I'll be like, good one.
Oh yeah, no,
Then I'll
like
ban.
we made a whole thing out of my Dixerect. I'd be like, do you guys know my Dixerect? Like, hey, GamerHeroine, do you know my Dixerect? Like,
You're like
Rocket
Mo
League.
from Simpsons. You just keep repeating the name
Exactly.
over
My
and over.
Dixerect!
Guys, my dick's right.
Looking for my Dixerect.
Have you heard my Dick's Rex in the channel?
Oh my god.
But I mean, yeah, I just think that especially just the non-acknowledging people who clearly want you to say the name or to give you some special, like we will literally just immediately move on. Like we're not going to talk about the ban. It's just ban. We'll get it off the screen and then we'll continue on with whatever we're doing, because that's the exact opposite of what they want. They want to bring your stream to a screeching halt, and for you to focus on that and be upset about it and like blow it up. And if you let the exact opposite happen, which is just like, this is nothing to me, and you just immediately move on, I think that's like the best policy.
Yeah, I had a couple of trolls drop in on a charity stream, man.
That's rough.
I was doing a 24-hour charity stream back in May for St. Jude Play Live back here, and they came in after some Dead by Daylight games, just being horrible. It was like you guys are actually the worst.
That's
kind
a
of
new
people.
level.
But
Yeah.
that's that's consistent, right? Because that's who these people are. I mean, they don't. There's no sacred cow to them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're
There's
not,
no
you know what I
line.
mean? They're already a horrible person. They're not gonna be like, oh well, it's
Christmas Day. I'm gonna have a good spirit about this.
like,
I got
no,
trolls
they're
on my
not.
birthday
They're
stream.
horrible
Yeah.
human beings.
I had a lot of trolls.
So I have fun with it sometimes, maybe more than I should.
Yeah.
Like I probably don't do the fish approach. Like I said, it just depends on the day. It's like I just might be like, oh, I'm gonna try and see if I can make this person absolutely hate themselves after this somehow. And it's probably a bad idea, but
I've had ones that I haven't handled well. I delete those VODs. I've had some moments that I'm really not proud of, where I just lose my cool if they do manage to find something that is personal or important to me. Or I've just had that bad of a day. They're few and far between, but I've had a couple of outbursts. I'm better about it now. I'm more mature now. I'm a little more professional in the way I handle it.
Yeah. I remember you telling that story that at least one of the biggest times you've just lost it over a troll, but like some of them really do get under your skin, and it's hard to bounce back after they do that. Like it's so hard to figure out how to get back into your normal state. And I think it depends a lot on chat and a lot of like taking a break, walking away for a second, like just bring it back home.
Yep.
Guys, let's end with a decision we're about to make, which is, I think everybody has their own little philosophy for it, which is at the end, your stream has come to a close. Who are you going to host? I guess I'll go first, which is that I think I don't host random people enough, people that I don't know enough. And it's something I'm trying to correct a little bit. Like Saturday we were playing some Overwatch. We hosted somebody who was, I think, in the 20-ish viewer range that we didn't know. It's sometimes super dangerous to host somebody that you don't know. And we've all had like maybe I can't speak for No Dice, but I certainly know that Waffle Cone and GH have had some flops of a random host.
I have
happened
had
before.
some too. Yes.
And I've had some terrible flops, and you feel
Yep.
almost like bad for your community. Like, I'm so sorry that we're here. Sorry.
Yes.
But I had such a nice, great host on Saturday, and we got over there. And the best thing you can do for the fish tank is just to play Brain Power. And she happened to be listening to Brain Power on her playlist. And
Yeah.
we blew up her chat, and she was co-streaming with somebody, and he was in the similar range. And we blew up his chat, and everybody's dropping the follows, and their people were gifting out subs, and it was just one of the coolest things ever. And I think that's something I need to do more often.
Mhm.
Is find some random people and just take the chance that it's going to be a shit show over there, and everybody's going to get timed out by the bot and all that stuff. But for the most part, I would say that I always try to host somebody who I believe in. There's not like a utility host. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to host this
Yeah.
guy, and he's going to come over to my channel, and all these people are going to follow me. It's like I host people who I believe in what they're doing. I believe in their stream. I like them. With Ladders Down, it's made that process a lot easier because now I can see like, I've spent some time. I try to spend time on everybody on Ladders Down stream. I try to visit them, at least say hello, pop in, drop the lurk at very least. But I've been for the last, especially since Ladders Down inception, I've been trying to find people on Ladders Down to host, just to show some love and people's streams that I believe in. I mean, I'm sure you guys are of a similar vein. How often are you guys doing random hosts, and is that something you consider, or Dice?
I had one really bad random host, and it's been really hard for me to do that again. Do we have time for the story? Can I tell the story?
Sure, of course, yeah.
Do it.
Obviously, we're a pretty accepting group of people. I don't hold grudges against any, race, color, creed, religion, anything like that. But I rated a dude randomly on I can't remember what the game was anymore. I think it was Stardew. He had purple hair. He looked kind of cool. So sort of an out there kind of dude. I'm gonna raid this guy real quick. And so we rated him for like 12, 13 people. Wasn't huge, but there was some good chat spam. And he was immediately like, "Hey guys, thanks for the raid. I'll be right back. Watch this video." And it was a 4-minute video about how gamers need to turn to Jesus. And it was like really heavy-handed, and it was like catered towards like the fellow kids crowd. It was like, "Hey Uber gamers, before you say GG on God, listen to what we have to." And I was like, and we had just gotten done with a stream where we were talking about titties and drinking beer all night. Like, it was crazy. And I was like, "Unhost, abort mission, get out!" It was so awkward, man. It was just it was literally like, "Hey, thanks, No Dice." Movie. Like, he was just waiting for an audience to push his message through. And ever since then, I was like, I'm going to have a really hard time hosting randoms now because I don't know what's going to happen. So what I will do, if I don't have someone from my dedicated list of people that, are either in Ladders Down or people I've known for a long time, I'll ask viewers, especially because I play so many different games. I said, "Hey, like I was playing Marbles back when I was doing Marbles. I was like, there's no one on that I really want to host right now. If any of you guys have another good Marble streamer to recommend," and immediately everyone's just dropping links. And it's like, okay, so we spent some time and dug through the links and found out a guy that I like, Calamity TV, and we rated him. I'll ask viewers for raid suggestions because there's always somebody that they know that you don't, and it gets you more involved with communities. I did the same thing when I was playing Warframe, and that way you avoid increasingly awkward flop. Rando
But you
raids.
still get to meet new people.
Absolutely.
Increase your own core community. Get to new
and
new
most of the time,
tell your
people
bad
who watch your
hosts.
streams know the type of streams that they watch. So
Right.
GH has a really good flop host story.
How many weeks ago was that now? I don't even remember.
Probably
So this-
2-3 weeks.
2-3 weeks. So I was looking for someone to host, and this random girl had hosted me the day before who was also playing RimWorld at the time. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll toss the host back to her, find out what she's like. And we go in there, we start, spamming, we go nuts when we spam butts. And all of us got timed out for like a solid 2 minutes. And she
It was
didn't
like a 4-minute.
acknowledge it.
Everybody got a 4-minute.
You think it was 4? It was
That's
just
awkward.
like she didn't acknowledge the fact we were banned. She was like, "Thank you for the host," and then like she didn't say shit to us
Back to
for
the
like the
game.
whole rest of the time. Yeah, like she kept talking to her community, didn't acknowledge why we were banned, didn't tell us how long it'd last, didn't like nothing, absolutely nothing. It was so awkward. I unfollowed. I was like, nah, bruh.
Nah,
Like I gave you a nice host and you didn't do anything with it. Like I got banned for 4 minutes.
See, I don't get why people handle it that way. It's like the night that we raided after one of your streams, Fish, where we raided the dude that's in your stream team, and he was just like, "Hey guys, I really appreciate it. You know, could you go ahead and maybe just go ahead and chill on because I do our role play. Could you go ahead and chill the spam?" And we all stopped and we respected it, and it was easy as that. And we were all super
It
cool
doesn't have to
after
be
that.
disrespectful. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like it was literally like we had some crazy spam and he was like, "Okay guys, I appreciate the raid, but like could you we'll slow down the spam a little bit."
Yeah,
We were all
I'm
like,
chilling
"Sure."
out now.
And when we do random hosts now, I'm always like, if they don't like the spam, guys, stop.
Just
You know what I
stop.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're
You
in
could
their
always
house at
yell,
that point.
"Lower your
We're not there to
weapons" in chat
dominate.
too if you're the person hosting. You lower
Right.
your weapons.
As you were, soldier.
Usually
Yeah.
people
I
stop.
love spam.
Yeah.
I can't get enough spam.
I do too.
I love
can't get
spam.
enough of it, but
Yeah.
some people don't, and I do. I respect that. It's like I said, it's their house, their rules. We're going into their house.
It's more of a library than a house at that point.
For sure.
Yeah.
Burn.
See, I can't do random hosts like you guys can because for me, again, so much of what surrounds my streams is already like kind of around my circumstances. And so for me, a lot of times if I'm calling my stream, it's because all my kids are getting up and I have
Yeah.
to go take care of my kids.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's like I at least people in the community that know me and like I'd be like, hey, I got to go help the wife with the kids, and they're like, cool, man, thanks for the raid, I really appreciate it. But like it's a little different with a solo raid because I don't want to be that guy that raids and runs,
Mhm.
especially if it's someone that doesn't know me. And so like I don't want to raid some random person, be like, hey man, it's really great to meet you, I want to check out your stuff, but I'm leaving, see ya, have a good one. You get one of those weird like lurker you've never seen people hosts, and that's just weird and random. So unless I really have some time to dedicate to like a solid at least like 30 minutes after the stream, I try not to host randoms if I don't have that specific circumstance. But sometimes that'll happen. Sometimes I'll they'll be out of the house or something like that, and I can kind of pull something like that off. But usually I because of my circumstances, I try and keep it in the community just because I know people are understanding. They're like, oh yeah, and
Mhm.
Waffle's got kids, he's got to go do his thing. So
Do
that's the way
any
I
of you
approach it.
guys? Oh, sorry.
No, I was done.
Do any of you guys scout out people ahead of time to find someone to host? Like, if you're like, this is the time slot, and which I usually end.
I would
Oh,
love
no
to,
dice?
I would love to tell this story because the only reason I am here right now is because my wife did that for me. The only reason I'm in this community is because we were looking for someone to raid in the Stardew category, and my wife found Waffle Cone and said, you should raid this guy named Waffle Cone, he's got a nice beard.
Dude.
And that's what
That's
we did.
that's
So we
insane.
raided Waffle Cone with like 9 or 10 people. This was like way back when I was
Yep.
just starting. And through Waffle, I met Fish and Geeksay and UGH and everybody else in the community. It all started because my wife was browsing through Twitch on mobile looking for a raid target and said, this
I'm a
Waffle
uniter.
Cone guy's got a
I'm a
nice
uniter.
beard.
Yeah, he's my uniter as well, actually.
It was completely random. That was my entry into this was
I mean,
because Angela did that.
Geeksay was a random host for me.
No.
Yeah.
I hosted Geeksay randomly. That's how I met literally everybody I know on Twitch. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
so
Like,
we all
that's-
met through randoms. We didn't like secondary meet anyone.
Yeah.
Through
So
hosts.
that's why
Hosts
I'm going
are
to try to
tool.
get back to it a little bit, I think, and try to meet some new people, expand my network a little bit, because I
Yeah.
think that meeting the Geeksay and meeting the Evil Penguin Bob is
EPB.
worth the dead host
Mhm.
where I hosted somebody who was on a 5-minute delay.
I hosted,
You know.
I hosted a guy one night.
Woo, that was
5 minutes.
He didn't even
awkward.
he didn't even have a second monitor. He had no way to read chat. I hosted a guy one night who was streaming without chat. He was like, my phone's dead, guys. Sorry, I can't read chat.
Oh wow, that's so rough. Oh, it's so rough.
Well, speaking of hosts, I think our
Isn't that
ladder's
time?
down After Dark episode 2 has come to an end. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out tonight. Again, please visit us on the Discord. Ask your questions. We'll try to get to as many as we can. And tonight we're going to host another community member who's streaming in Ladders Down right this very moment, named Hippofartimus. A lot of you guys know this.
Hippofartimus!
We're going to go toss the host over to Hippo tonight, and he is playing small indie game. Dice, you might have heard of it. It's called Call of Duty Black Ops.
I have heard of that game.
Small indie dev.
I
You guys
may or
say-
may not be
Very
completely
obscure.
addicted to it.
But thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks, maybe. Wait, how long? It's 2 weeks from? Yeah, I should
It's
be
2
back.
weeks.
I'll be back. I'll be fresh back from TwitchCon next time I see you guys. In 2 weeks, that's going to
Solid.
be on October 30th, Tuesday, October 30th.
Oh,
Guys,
Halloween.
My name
Can
is
we wear
Chris. You can
costumes?
find me-
The Halloween
yes,
special?
I have a costume on the way. Yes, let's do a special Halloween edition.
It's October
After
30th. We
dark.
have to, right? We got to do a
have to.
costume show.
We have to.
Oh my god. Oh,
What have we done?
I gotta
Crazy,
start
I didn't
thinking.
even realize.
Done.
I gotta start
Guys,
thinking.
I'm Fish. You can find me at
Rip.
twitch.tv. SUIT.
Oh, I'm
Please get this
Game
right. Please get
Heroine. I'm GamerHeroine. You can call me GH.
this right.
I'm Waffle Cone. You can find me at twitch.tv/Waffle Cone and also on farmersonlystreaming.tv
God damn it.
/Waffle Cone. Thank you and good night.
My name is No Dice TV. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at that exact handle. And unlike Waffle Cone, you can find me on Christian Mingle. Good night, everybody.
Everyone. Thank you, guys.
Okay, and we are no check. We're still live. You didn't hear that, chat. Bye.